MVP space.
I think we missed our crowd mic for
Yeah,
the first one.
I think the fans gotta, maybe they're waking up a little bit, you know, still early.
Well,
Out of the routine of coming here every weekend, you gotta get back into that groove, especially after all the holidays.
yeah, it's not the coldest day, but it is very windy today.
Yeah.
And the Han River has ice on the top of it. You know, it was a pretty cold night last night. Kaiser will be starting on Orisa here for Sanctum, which is actually kind of odd, considering that I feel he's the better Rhine of these two in a lot of ways, and Oberon actually has really good Orisa, but it's kind of funny how the mismatch happens here. We'll see Proper actually on McCree rather than Zolgan, so he's just sticking with the Brigida, whereas MVP Space is going to be running that 3-3.
Just going to be playing Ring Around the Rosie here. MVP shifting over to Stormquake spawn, vice versa, as they get ready to match up here.
The speed boost for Fuse will be critical because it's going to get them into position here. It's up on the high ground. They actually grab into the corner.
FaZe dropping down here will go ahead and try to counteract the cap, but they pull back just long enough to have it. See this one locked down here from MVP, and now Stormquake, they have to route themselves over onto the
They have to
point.
swap composition. This is rough.
Okay, they do manage to find one pick here as Undyne does go down, chasing forward, Fuse into the back, looking to boot somebody off, not going to find it. FaZe comes up with a double, now Sujen as well. Tuba and Oberon both going to be taken down. They don't have to swap anything, it would seem. Now they're going to have the defender's advantage with this Orisa shield.
That was a critical mistake by MVP Space to chase. They got greedy. They wanted ult charge. They wanted to get the staggered spawns and build percentage. Their turnaround there by Zolgan was massive. He gets the opening kill there with the whip. And then suddenly, they get the defender's advantage they were originally looking for, where they have the Orisa barrier to protect Proper. They've got good range here. And MVP Space walks away with very little ult charge for the reapproach. Amazing scenario here. Good capitalization by Stormquake on a greedy choice by MVP Space.
Will this be a drop down in the back here? FaZe pulling up in the front, nearly has that self-destruct ready to go. Deadeye out behind the barrier. Proper not going to find anything. They can hide. The Hulk is not going to give him any poke here. But playing into the back, very contained at the moment here is MVP Space.
I love the angle for Stormquake though.
Amy as well, waiting above for them to push out to try to go for the boom. And that might just be it. No! Barely misses it. Knocks him right onto the edge, but cannot quite finish him off. FaZe going up into the air, losing out onto the mech. Will just go ahead, dump that self-destruct, pushing forward. The boop over the side. Tuba can't flip around, can't get that 180 to try to keep himself safe. Does get taken down by the self-destruct. Stormquake will continue to maintain control, at least for now. Undyne going to be popping out with the Transcendence, topping up Oberon. The best of his ability. Shatter coming down the barriers there, blocks it all out. Proper getting a bit of damage in with the Deadeye. Oberon now going to get dropped. Break onto the mech. Bianca taken out. Fuse getting sniped here by Proper, who's just sitting pretty in the back lines with this McCree. No pressure on him whatsoever.
And it's just the positioning they have there with Amy. You pointed it out at the beginning of the fight. He can threaten them from behind. It's tough for them to poke out. They have no range. Stormquake doesn't hold the point on the point. They have FaZe tag it while they do damage elsewhere. Really nice setup for them. And MVP Space, Yaki used that last grab, and that might just be them writing their names on the tombstones already here for this first round. They don't have anything really to approach this point with anymore.
Yeah, Rally just about to come up. They will have that sound barrier online shortly, but Amy can match. FaZe again playing up into the front, nearly have the break onto Bianca's. Mech goes lower and lower now. Oberon getting poked out. The shield's going to be destroyed. He'll get taken down. Proper finds the head. Bomb into the back, looking for the pick off. FaZe will get knocked over the side of the map, but not before he takes Bianca out of his own mech. So now, two-man advantage over here to the side of Stormquake, going to be evened up. As they do lose Sujen. Deadeye getting a little bit of damage in. Flashbangs there. They should have just about find the kill on the Fuse. They will be able to tag him in the rear. 99%. For the flip here still is MVP Space. Pushing forward, that will be Lastro. Using that Transcendence to keep the remaining members alive. Oberon has rejoined. He's playing up the flip, getting ready to come through, but Amy delaying as long as he possibly can. The shield being broken. Amy dropping into the back, looking for a chance to put somebody off the side, but will get taken down. Proper, however, finds Yaki, finds Oberon. The tank line completely decimated. Now Tuba will be taken out as well. Just have to clean up Fuse, and this should be it. 99 to 18%. Stormquake, take it easy.
Very good priority target selection from Proper there, avoiding Bianca in every case possible while Bianca was coming out to challenge FaZe. Didn't have his defense matrix angled the correct way. Proper is able to get those backline targets. But this is the kind of strategy those who don't like 3-3 should be getting hyped about. It's not the quad DPS that's super specifically, on one part of one map, right? This is innovation here right now from Stormquake. doing the complete opposite of what 3-3 normally does in control. You grab the point first, you stand on it, you say, come at me, I'm going to do more damage than you, we have the better position. They said, I'm going to keep phase on the point so you can't take it back, but he's the only one there. We're going to then use range damage against the 3-3 there. Very well done. Very exciting to see this type of play coming through from StormQuake. Now as we head into Village though, it's going to have to be a match. You can't use the range damage here. There's just not enough line of sight, unfortunately.
Yeah, every now and then the bar will come out on a point like this, but not today, not the moment, not in this matchup. Swinging away, so just going to be looking to build up. Very low there for Kaiser. Armor packs helping to keep him sustained, but he will get taken down. Bianca with a rocket. Does manage to find that kill. And now it's going to be an opposite situation from what we saw on Sanctum. MVP Space going to be winning out the 3-3 battle here as they continue to clean up the members of StormQuake and get this first cap again.
All right, so let's see if MVP Space can hold it this time. Remember last time StormQuake lost control of the point. They wanted to then retreat and swap comp, but they got lucky because MVP Space chased them too far. This time, it's mirrored. Yaki's just going to be looking for some right clicks, but no other greed here. In fact, MVP Space is going to hold the high ground.
Wrapping around the back, StormQuake going to work their way forward. Firestrike coming out, Overall not going to find anything. The Shatter will be online now. Looking for an opportunity. Zarya bubble. Be thrown down the barrier, up, slams it down, manages to find one. Sugen, they will be able to come up with the kill very swiftly. Not the biggest Shatter in the world, but still does lead to a pick. Time Phase gets taken down. StormQuake still going to be held at bay. Kaiser gets his Shatter online, will be taken down, however. A bit of an eco push there from StormQuake, but
sure.
On the next couple passes, they're going to have to get something done. Otherwise, MVP Space is going to be looking at an OT bar, the very least.
The big difference here for StormQuake is that they have that Shatter, as Oberon used his previously. Oberon's on the high ground, though, as is the rest of StormQuake, so they cannot be shattered at the moment. By Kaiser, they do drop down. The barrier's going to have to be well placed.
Grab getting ready to come online. The Shatter will be there. Yaki almost taken down. Sound barrier does keep him alive in the mix. Grab will come through. Bringing in Lastro here, going to be matching with that Transcendence, keeping everybody pumped up. Phase dropping in the bomb. The shield gets taken down, and Phase comes up with a triple. Both supports plus Overon going to be gone. Bianca knocked out. Great combo there from StormQuake. They pull it off. They get the flip as MVP Space gets ready to hit 80%.
They were too reliant on Tuba's barrier there to block Kaiser's shield. You know, that was the whole crux of the attack. We mentioned it earlier. Kaiser has the Shatter. MVP Space knows that they're on the high ground, but they drop down, and Oberon isn't there. They're relying on Tuba. It's just not a wide enough barrier. That small mistake allows them to get the better ult trade. Talking about StormQuake here. If they can maintain this, they can catch up.
Big hit there on the fuse, takes him down to half HP. The Shatter coming down. Overon locked up in the front. He's going to be eliminated off the bat. Lastro able to follow up for a double of his own. He takes Bianca out of the mech. Then gets Yaki. This guy is absolutely on fire here at the moment. Very nicely won fight by StormQuake.
Yeah, this has basically been in the tank matchup. Oberon has been irrelevant. First Shatter was decent, but then Kaiser follows up with 2. He's still holding his second Shatter. Oberon is, as Kaiser has lapped him. The approach here is going to be difficult because I don't think StormQuake can make the same mistake MVP Space did in terms of dropping down and not protecting their backline with that barrier. They will, of course, jump down, but as you can see, Kaiser's at the front. They can't hit the Shatter.
Barrier taking a ton of damage. Shatter will come down, locks up Phase. The sound barrier is instantly in, but they just melt right through that shield like a hot knife through butter. Yaki popping Phase out of the mech, no chance to get back in. No other kills to be found yet. The Graviton Surge will be coming through, bombs the back. Shield's still going to be raised, but gets knocked down. That'll be the wipe here. StormQuake swept under the rug. MVP Space regained control, now moving up 80+%.
That one shield bash changed everything. The positioning was good there from Kaiser. Everything was set.
Plan a nickel for every time that's been said.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, the thing is, we're going to see less of that particular trade-off in the new patch, but not in this one. High down, drops down.
Instantly in the back, Lastro going to be eliminated with that Transcendence online. Now no support. Oberon comes up with a double grab into the wall. There needs to be a huge fight. Shatter on the back of the Graviton Surge. Bomb thrown down, looking for the pick. Shield comes up. Hit a bit too late. Pacers managed to find Undyne, but can't make it back in the mech. Bianca does take him out. Now barrier through MVP Space. Looking to seal the deal on the second round of Nepal. Will be able to take this 100-68, so we will see a third and final round on Shrine to decide the winner of the first map.
Already a pretty close match between these two. I feel MVP Space got a little bit duped on Sanctum. You know, they hadn't really dealt with what to do when you're on the point with 3-3, but you don't have it controlled, and you're hoping your opponent's going to come to you, but they don't. They outrange you. But then we went to a more mirrored Village. you know, outside of Kaiser's dominant shatters there, the shield bash gets them the point back. They were more ult efficient. As we head into this last phase, there is a chance we could see once again some sort of ranged McCree coming out from StormQuake, but I just don't think it's worth the risk at this point for game number 1, map priority going forward. Remember, if MVP Space wins the first 2 maps, they've never lost Assault before this season, that is to say. So you don't even want to really risk that happening, and they are going to just run 3-3.
Feels like a nightmare scenario for somebody. Amy getting tagged up already, but the right click's coming out from Undyne. Pushes himself nicely above 30% now. Setting very quickly for that Transcendence. Fire striking the pillar, a big whip there from Overwatch, costing him some charge, playing up into the front phase, gonna get popped out of the mech very quickly here. As Yaki claims that. In onto the point right now is StormQuake. Bianca coming in from the side, gets onto that flank, but takes a lot of damage from the sidelines. Burning him down, Proper manages to take him down now. Overwatch, there a lot of pressure going lower and lower. 100 energy here from Proper. Makes his way back around the corner to stay safe. Right click's just gonna be going down. Graviton Surge nearly online. About 30% higher than Yaki here at the moment.
Good target selection for Proper, good movement.
Doubles coming down, Graviton Surge to lock him up, beaming his way through the back of these members, but no one dying here as Undyne goes ahead and pops that Transcendence. Now will be expired. Tries to keep himself alive. Laster pushing forward, has the Transcendence of his own online rather. Yaki though, Graviton Surge is going to be up. He slams this one in. There's going to be no way to counter it.
He wants to hold it if he can too. They're starting to win the fight off his high energy. 92.
Yeah, they'll just go ahead and take it. Yaki cleans up house here. Builds up the ultimate, does not have to invest in. StormQuake will be losing the point. They build up to 35%.
This feels like a bigger win for MVP Space though, because the ultimates they hold, and still the high energy here from Yaki. It's going to be very difficult for StormQuake to break through. They're going to wait for the respawns here. That's going to buy more and more percentage here for MVP Space. Good conservative play there by Yaki, staying alive, building that energy.
Shadow coming down, don't think he found much of anything there. Bomb into the back, flip over to the side. Kaiser just managed to block that one out, but the kills are still coming through from MVP Space as they maintain control. 2 of the frontline members going to be gone. Phase goes off the side of the map. StormQuake going to have to reset.
Yeah, this is a huge win for MVP Space. They now have, with Undyne, the answer to Proper's approaching grab, and there's no double AoE tank ultimates here. Had they had the Shatter and the grab, for example, then maybe you could make an argument that Trance has to be used for the former, and then they could win the fight, but they just don't have that. Double four ultimates for MVP Space gives them a huge advantage.
Round comes down, Shatter out from Overrun, locks him up with a stairway. They try to get the combo there, get the charge through to block the shield, but it's not going to be in time to block the phase, not going to find anything. Bianca again up into the front, stunned up, getting hounded down. Proper nearly pops him out of the mech. He will manage to stay alive here for the moment. Rockets exchanged from both the mechs, be weakening each other as much as humanly possible. Transcendence out from Lasso as they continue to push forward. Kaiser with the Shatter, not going to find much of anything. Overon nearly getting one, but Proper comes up big, finds Yaki, then gets Bianca out of the mech. But Undyne and Fuse, the supports from MVP Space are trying to keep the hopes alive. Proper and Souljet both going to be taken down. Lastro says no, gets rid of Fuse. They will be able to clean up the remaining members. The flip comes back through from StormQuake, starting here, now at 40%.
This game could not be closer right now. The difference here is that StormQuake has the positional advantage, even though MVP Space arguably has slightly better ultimates here. I mean, it's even hard to argue that. In fact, when you look at the ultimates are almost dead even after that fight. StormQuake didn't really have to use anything. They're going to take the right side approach here. They're going to try to do something a little bit tricky because of that positional advantage StormQuake has. They're spotted now. As you can see, Kaiser angles his shield towards their direction. Nice defense matrix there to absorb that fire strike.
Yeah, Bubble's going to be coming down. Kaiser chunked down instantly. Transcendence going to be used here by Undyne. Lastro going to be matching the Ultimate Bolt Dance here onto the point. Graviton Surge is nearly online. Yaki now going to have his bomb coming through from base, looking for a pickoff. Instantly though, 4-man slaughter here on the side of StormQuake as they stay alive with the sound barrier, chaining those support ultimates available. Fuse just could not get his online fast enough. Was trailing a little bit behind Amy, but built up absolutely nothing in the fight. Overall, StormQuake now getting ready to hit 90%. They only have a Shatter online.
Yeah, and Fuse is going to have to be the one who tries to sneak in here, you'd think. I mean, he's actually going with his team. They want to full contest this, but tagging is even going to be an issue here.
Shatter comes in from the side, blocks up a few. Yaki going low. Tuba going to be eliminated with a rally online. 3 members gone just like that. Overwatch trying to stay alive, gets the sound barrier here, but he is just so very weak. Trying to kite his way away from Kaiser, but he can just swing the wind, gets a fire strike in the face, takes him down, and now it should just be cleanup here on the Bianca. They eliminate him. OT ticking down to Soldier 76, trying to sprint in onto the point, but cannot make it in time, and StormQuake will be able to take map 1.
Very competitive first map. But I think it's the Sanctum strategy, the depth we saw from StormQuake there, that really puts them ahead, puts them in that extra advantage, because in the mirror, things were pretty close. Sometimes you miss a shatter, sometimes that shield bash is going to catch you, right? But what really set them apart was that extra developed strategy for Nepal, not even knowing necessarily that that would be the map choice. Remember, this was MVP Space's map choice, and yet even still, they had a strategy prepared for Nepal, knowing that potentially we'd see 3 control maps tonight. And that's the kind of preparation you're going to need to set yourself apart from a veteran squad like MVP Space. And StormQuake absolutely did that. And then we see, in most cases, in most of these Ryan versus Ryan scenarios, it's Kaiser who actually comes up ahead. Better shatters overall, better positioning. And so, you know, one of the players that we were criticizing at the beginning of the season, you know, saying, well, they're putting Seabag in more than he is. He's had some inconsistent moments. He's been a little bit over-aggressive. I feel like ever since he set foot on Nepal against Meta Athena on that 5th map, we've seen the better Kaiser. We've seen a Kaiser reminiscent of Apex Season 2. And, you know, it's funny that in the playoffs we go back to Nepal, and he shows that same form once again. And for MVP Space, they're going to make their 4th map selection this season. They've only picked 3 maps. Their only map choices, you know, until the Hanamura map pick against Runaway were on after Control, after losing those maps. They were Hollywood and Numbani. But as we have a fully open map pool here, there has to be some consideration given to playing something like the King's Row. That's an old favorite for MVP Space, but with how well Kaiser played the Ryan versus Ryan, it feels like a little bit of a risk to run that now.
Yeah, especially given the history of that map as being based in 3-3. That was the original Phalanx comp map that kind of came through, which very much was about playing back into shields, and as they come through, you absolutely obliterate them, whether that was with, you know, Hanzo McCree Reaper. Those were the 3 big ones.
As well, yeah.
Junkrat as well kind of found its way into that a little bit later on, kind of trickled into that meta. I don't know if you really want to go for it. Honestly, Numbani might be a decent pick here for MVP Space.
You've got Yaki on the far for defense there.
Or the Genji.
Or Genji on attack. So you've got both options there, and you can put Tuba on Sombra. So there's a lot of extra, I think, that MVP Space can bring to the table here, similar to how we have that unique strategy on Sanctum for StormQuake. So if you think about strategic depth, I think definitely, yeah, Numbani is where I go for this. Bumper sticker size and sign says, but it's time for map selection.
It is. No changes to the rosters whatsoever. Kaiser going to be sticking through Sojourn as well. Not going to be seeing a Tune, not going to be seeing Evo. So MVP, again, it seems like this is the roster that they think gels the best and will yield them results to put them into that top 4 for the first time in the org's history.
Yeah, it would be massive. Where are they taking us? There's a surprise loss on the first map. It
Blizzard
will be Blizzard World.
Okay. So here we are.
Wide map pool, right? You can always prepare snipe strategies on lesser played, and you would assume then lesser scrimmed maps like Blizzard World. It's a great map for Junkrat. It always has been, even in this meta. Can be very strong, but also Genji, viable here if utilized correctly with proper dive. But what this map is more known for is Widowmaker and long-range hit scan play through the street space. Probably not going to see that in this meta, but that was what we saw back in Season 2 and even Season 1 of Contenders Korea. So I think this is going to be a learning experience for everyone, but MVP Space is going to have to be the professor with the chalkboard, teaching us about what strategy they've chosen. If StormQuake just out-mechanics them at 3-3 again, then they're going to regret this choice.
From Blizzard World here for the second map. StormQuake currently leading 1-0. Let's see if MVP can tie this up, or if StormQuake will be advancing to that fearful match point.
So remember, the attacks on A on this map were always kind of led by...
Oh, look at this, though.
Yeah, sneaky. Always kind of led by similar compositions, Reinhardt, Zarya, with the Moira, right? The Moira Lucio is usually the way you approached it. And if you got through the Junkrat, you got the kills before the Riptire came out, or the Hanzo gets his Dragon Strike, then you win A, but otherwise you have a big problem, right? In this case, it's just going to be match composition, so far, nothing out of the ordinary here for MVP Space on the attack.
Yeah, despite the verticality here of the map, it'll just be the 3-3. They're still playing sneaky. They sent out FaZe to be a bit of a bait, now charging forward, swinging away. Zarya Bubble will save Oberon's life. There's to tag Yaki down to about 50%, but otherwise now we'll be cutting their way back to the point. Does not result in a pick. Will they be punished for this, though, is the question.
Doesn't look like it. They actually get away with it. See the heals coming through for MVP Space. They're getting more support ultimate charge from this, so a small victory for MVP Space in that regard, because if you take more damage and nobody dies, you're actually winning out in that support trade, as you can see, by about 20% across the board.
They're way up around the side. Shield bash coming through. Oberon getting the bubble just after. Does keep him alive and in the mix of things. MVP still trying to posture up. Haven't really found that in yet.
It looks like they want to use Trance as their engage tool. They've got 15% more to earn for that.
Well, they're going to need it really quickly here because the Graviton Surge is ready to go. Pin it into the wall. Undyne instantly going to be popping that one. Proper nearly going down. They're trying to find him. They can't quite get him. Lastro, now Yaki of his own. Now we'll have it ready to go.
Yaki's got that grab now, so this is their opportunity. They can bait out Lastro's Trance. It's a huge moment for MVP Space.
But now they're fighting 1-2 on support ultimates. Amy's about to have his online. Shadow from Kaiser gets nothing. I think actually Shield Bash in the middle of the cast. Vincent's out. Bomb to open up some space. Throws that one up. Will not find any picks. Now the grab comes down. Sound barrier going to be used as the Transcendence expires. MVP Space still not making their way in onto the point. Still not going to be finding any pickoffs here. And Proper, he builds up another Graviton Surge in the meantime.
Oh, and they're going to drop out their rally too. At least it looks like they'll be able to keep the armor. But as you say, they fed too much grab charge here to Proper. They're not making any headway right now. This is essentially an eco push.
Oh, straight into the front. Saw that Bianca wrapped around the back of the boxes. Could not get that defense matrix up in time. 3 members going to be taken down. This will be the cleanup kills here as Kaiser gets 3 on the back of the pin.
And this is just nasty.
He demeched and killed Bianca with the charge.
Yeah, and that's a pretty rare case, right?
I'm not really sure how that happened.
I guess probably the way the Diva popped out was caught by his shoulder or something like that, was damaged midair, then the final hit.
Fell right in front of him. Yeah, you know, does happen every now and then.
But looking at this scenario now, MVP Space is behind in every way, and they don't have any tools to make this push the one. They have to slowly poke in.
Shatter comes down instantly. They'll push forward. Bomb into the back. It doesn't mean jack. MVP Space. Everybody dropping like flies. Fuse gonna get cleaned up. Bianca, they could just leave him out. Seems like they will go ahead and finish him off and just watch him take a dip in the river.
When you look at how this map started, StormQuake got these small advantages from their forward position. This isn't a map where you can really check that with Sombra. You're going to lose too much time. It's very far away. It's not like Route 66, that container position, which is easily scouted by even a scatter, or rather a sonic arrow. So it was a smart risk by StormQuake. It pays off big. MVP Space has never really been able to recover. They tried to lead with their support ultimates, but the positioning has just been better for StormQuake around this choke.
Another grab ready to go. Just throws straight into the wall. Yep, locks him in. Transcendence will be up from Undyne Bomb. Coming in from above. Fuse taken down before he can get that sound barrier online. StormQuake still looking to win out the fight here. Oberon disconnected, will be taken down. Lastro comes up with the kill as Proper charges forward. MVP Space on their map pick. Looking to be full held here as there's only 25 seconds remaining. Couldn't quite get the stagger there. The D-Mech onto Bianca. Proper will have to kite his way back, but has the protection here from the defense matrix from the shield.
I mentioned it was their 4th map pick, but I guess technically it's their 5th, right? They chose Nepal, were defeated there.
True.
And now another shatter.
Oh, Oberon, the timing's just so poor, but the sound barrier from Fuse is actually good to at least keep them alive. They have to make their way over the point right now. 4 seconds remaining. Graviton Surge comes through from Yaki, locks up a few, trying to take him down with Lastro. Has that Transcendence back cap getting ready to come through. Shatter out, not going to find much, pushing forward. 1 tick actually going to be surrendered as they try to win the fight here onto the front lines. We'll have to go back to deny this. They finally start making their way over. They'll be holding this one out. Bomb thrown up, looking for a pick. Laster will be taken down from Bianca, but that's just a consolation prize. Just shy of 2 ticks, all that they're going to get. Otherwise, full hold here for StormQuake.
Fuse is the hero that keeps their chances of taking this map alive as he goes back into the back cap. Everyone on StormQuake is so focused on their ult efficiency. It's one AoE ultimate after the other, buying time, deleting that time bank. But we have to go back to the Kaiser fan sign. We have to go back to game 1 here because he is just hitting these shatters every time. And most of these shatters are coming off the back of good reaction time when he sees Oberon lower the shield, or just finding a flanking angle where the shield does not cover. And he's playing very passively while getting these shatters, and that's the most terrifying type of Reinhardt, actually, is one who's not, you know, basically telegraphing what he's doing, one who's not trying to sneak in there. He's actually just playing at the front, guarding, and then hitting you, you know, in that one tiny frame where you've dropped your shield or you've stepped out of position. And now MVP Space, they've chosen this map, they played it safe, they played it standard, and
Proper showing us Ash.
Sure, for the moment. I don't know how long that really will show.
Hey!
I'd love to see the Mike Morhaime in there. But yeah, when they're in this scenario where they've chosen this map and they've chosen nothing but standard, you have to wonder why. And Blizzard Worlds, historically at our playoffs, actually, if you look back since Season 1 where it was introduced, it's kind of been that map that teams have chosen mistakenly. Runaways mistake against X6, for example, in Season 1.
Well, here we go. Swap out. Proper will be going over to the Doomfist, at least for now. Probably just going to be changing it up again, yeah. I was hoping really that
really,
Ash would actually
playoffs
be
you haven't learned that, like, this isn't real? Come on.
Look, man, I wanted the Ash, all right? I want to see some Bob.
It didn't even make sense for the comp.
I actually want to see Bob more so than Ash. I want the ultimate more than the actual face character. But already surrendering the high ground, MVP Space can ramp themselves around the side. Fire Spectre from Kaiser, not going to find much. They're just charging their way in. He'll get bashed up. The bubble comes in. Will keep him alive. The Fire Strike again going to be denied away. Kaiser not really getting any charge, but Overwatch's not that much further ahead. Make their way back around the corner just to get topped up. And take the fight again, pushing their way through. Face leading the charge. Not going to be going low. Lasso, however, will get picked off. They start ticking their way up, and it will actually be Space winning out the fight.
Okay, that was a close call, though. Nice pick there. And Yaki's able to survive, build the energy. It's his energy again that saves them, reminiscent of Nepal, where he hides back. And for a moment, it looks like, okay, he's out of position. He can't do the damage that's required. He's too low, but he survives, builds that energy. They're good bubbles and mostly, barriers for his teammates, and it comes back in and lights them up. Tied right now in ult charge with Proper. It's still 250 they got to defend here, but it is doable. They're in fact ahead for the first time in ultimates.
Pushing his way up, Proper. Grab nearly online. Lasso going to be trying to get that Transcendence, but it's not going to be fast enough here. The grab comes in. Zul'jin going to be taken down. Kaiser trying to stay alive. Shields up. Drops down to half phase in the meantime. Going to get popped out of the mech here onto the point, and Oberon can go ahead and scoop up the kill. More hit there. Kaiser will be taken out. 2:25 remaining on the clock. MVP Space holding out hope that they can actually pull off this fuller hold.
It's really important to note and to really point out that Undyne did not use his trance there. It looked scary for just a moment, but he held it. He stayed fast on holding that ultimate, making sure he has it for the next push. So they still have that answer now to the follow-up trap for StormQuake. StormQuake wants to bait that out somehow. That would be ideal. They may just toss the grab in. They've got time.
Way forward here, stun coming through the shatter, going to be good. Transcendence has to be used to try to keep them alive, and now they have to scatter away from the explosion. We'll be able to avoid that one. In the meantime, when the remake has happened, the grabs on Surge comes through, blocks up the members of MVP Space, but you can see the sound barrier there from Fuse trying to save them. Shatter comes down from Kaiser, catches a couple members, he goes lower and lower, will be taken down by Undyne from the side. Face pushing up right into the face of the Reinhardt, tries to take him out, but is unable to do so. Zul'jin now going to be eliminated, and suddenly things start looking worse and worse for StormQuake, throwing every ultimate that they had at their disposal at this point, and it nets them nothing.
It was extremely ult efficient there for MVP Space. I think the biggest mistake of all was the late grab we saw come out from Proper. They had the sound barrier to answer. MVP Space is soon to have another one, and now they've got their own grab here. It's looking really bad for StormQuake now on the approach. Similar to MVP Space, but I don't think Amy's going to get a back cap this time. They're going to have to win it off a fight.
They have to do it, and they have to do it soon. A minute remaining. They lose somebody here at the beginning. One more chance to reset and try to get a push off. Kaiser tanked up on the entrance shield. They'll be taking a beating here. Weaker and weaker, pinned into the box. They lock him up. Kaiser getting dropped. The armor pack saving him for a little bit longer. He tries to stay alive, but Undyne will cut him down. The Transcendence is a bit too late here from Lastros, and now operating without their main tank, but they do manage to knock Bianca out of the mech and also find a pick off here on the Fuse. Tuba now going to get dropped. Overrun swinging away, manages to find Zul'jin. Some exchange over He gets punished. FaZe comes up with a kill. They're in onto the point. They just have to eliminate the last few members. They will be able to do that as Yaki is taken down. Cap's still not getting ready to come through the sound barrier. Fuse buys a little bit more time. Bianca gonna be picked off here as the bomb explodes from FaZe. They're ticking their way up. Now just have to gatekeep the few remaining members of MVP Space who are trying to make their way back over onto the point. Undyne here onto the high ground will drop down, but he gets pooped off. And StormQuake looking very rough at the latter half of that, but they will be able to come up with a victory 2-0.
It's always the big things that the fans look for, the grab, where is the shatter? But it's oftentimes the small things that really make the difference. Undyne missing his trance by half a second means he's unable to save Fuse, who gets his sound barrier in that exact moment. If Undyne saves Fuse, he survives there, they get a sound barrier, and they should be able to turn the fight off of Oberon's shatter that we saw, which ended up getting multiple members there at the end. But it's a domino effect. as the trance doesn't go off in time. Fuse is dead. There's no sound barrier, and StormQuake is almost able to steal away a win here of just a standard push down on ultimates. And now they're up 2-0 in this series. You know, I expected we could see a pretty even series here, but I thought it would be MVP leading the charge, and it would be close wins that we saw from StormQuake that would barely catch them up if we were going to see something like a Game 5. But I think we have to flip our expectations on their head now, because this is a first to 3 series, and StormQuake is 1 map away from getting that that spot in the round of 4.
Yeah. And what a statement it would be if they get in with a 3-0, taking down MVP Space, the first team to defeat them on Assault. It'd be a very big boon for them as they get ready to advance into that semifinal, but there's still more maps to be played. MVP Space, off the back of a win on Assault, might be able to start that snowball effect, gain some momentum, and try to engineer a reverse sweep in this series.
Yeah, remember too that
words.
StormQuake has the advantage in terms of escort. So when you look at map types, like undefeated for MVP Space on Assault, but even if they win that, they have to go to StormQuake's best map type and have to win that as well, and then go to Control to kind of bring it back. So
okay, we couldn't beat you on your undefeated map type. Can you beat us on our best one, you know? Very rough situation to be in if you're MVP Space here at the moment, but they got to do something. They have the halftime break here, a couple minutes to really gather their thoughts, decide if it's time to make a change to this lineup. Do we put Evo in? Because it seems like Oberon, I mean, a little bit better here, especially on the defense half of Blizzard World, but otherwise hasn't really been holding much of a candle to that of Kaiser, who has been coming out on top.
I think the real the big picture thing we learned from Blizzard World as to why I think MVP Space picked it is because they're really good at getting these initial picks and winning these fights off of those ultimates, and it takes so long to run back to the point. You burn a lot of time with that.
Yeah, well, 2-0 lead right now for StormQuake. We're going to take a quick break, guys, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a few.